This is KRS-One with the Bronx Boys Boogie set. It's all good. This is how it goes. This is the Budapest chapter being laid down right now. My man's in the building. He got down with us out there, actually, where it really mattered. It was dope. It was dope. It was dope. So shout out to the whole crew. You already know what it is. Zoom in on that. That's what it is. Yo.
That's right.
The Bronx Boys Rocking Crew. You know what it is.
The music, most importantly is the music, from bomba plena through boogaloo, to Latin, funk, and salsa and stuff like that. And when you hear hip hop, you hear some influences of like, wow, that beat, that sounds like a bomba plena beat, or oh, that's like a boogaloo, that sounds like Ray Barretto, oh, I like that. Especially when the B-boys and B-girls, when they get down, they listen to that beat, they listen to that break, and boom, there goes the congas. Because
a lot of the people who in the early years were not only from Puerto Rico, but from all of the Caribbean islands. So you had those sounds, those drum patterns, and even the lifestyle, you know. In Jamaica, they had the big speakers and everything, and in Puerto Rico, you got chicken fights, and you got a whole bunch of different things. That energy comes into it. You know, the domino playing with the kapiku, that same energy, you can see it in a B-boy. If you walk around the Bronx, even today, you see how Boricuas interact. You're gonna see how a B-boy may move a certain way. A lot of the most noteworthy graffiti writers are all Boricua to this day. Call me biased, but most of the hip hop legends are all Boricua.
Yo, this is Veronica Starr. I want to give a shout out to TBB, TBG, the longest running crew in history, BX, Bronx culture, B-boy culture, 50th anniversary. Be there. Peace.
You have African Americans that are break dancers, but we were mainly poppers and lockers. The Puerto Ricans took the up rock style, which what we were doing also, and made it their own, using a salsa and everything, and gang fighting into it. You know, so I would say that they have a big influence in break dancing.
Well, because hip-hop is known primarily as an African-American art form, but it's not an art form at all, it's a culture. And it's not an African-American culture to me, it's an expressive culture that was developed by South Bronx inner city youth. It wasn't so much a color thing as it was a class thing.
To give a big shout out to TBB, my man Johnny Juice, and about a couple of other guys that's friends of mine. Happy anniversary, brother. Peace.
Being a TBB member, we do our best to change our community. We try to find out what our community needs.
Right now, you know, a lot of these brothers that come, and sisters, actually, let me not forget the women, that come from literally all over the world are our sisters, man, through TBB, TBG, global family. You know, we embrace them and accept them, and we use the arts, everything that we grew up with back then, to help them stay out of trouble, man.
And now, TBB is a vehicle for social and cultural change. We try to initiate this throughout our communities and globally via the many chapters where we have.
Congratulations to the Bronx Boys Rocking Crew, celebrating their 50th anniversary. Keep doing what y'all doing. Salute from DJ CMBB Jungle.
They got brothers from the Bronx to call the Bronx Boys. They are the original B-boys who started this in the old days too. Right? You can say something.
Hello, people. Let me just say that I bow to every single hip-hop legends today. If you Google Batch TBB, you will learn, with all due respect, people, where Rocksteady came from, where New York City Breakers came from, okay? And I'm not taking anything away from these legends. I love Crazy Legs. But at the end of the day, if you do the Bronx Boys Rocking Crew history, you're gonna learn something. I've never been here before, and I feel like I'm in the Bronx. I'm from the boogie down Bronx, people.
I met Jimmy Lee, and Jimmy Lee was
they were all taggers. They used to go to the train yards and tag. And since Jimmy Lee became my best friend, we used to start hanging out together. And in '77, he took me up to Creston, and I always say, "Where do you go at night?" And he used to always laugh. He says, "Come on with me." He took me up to 184th and Creston, and I was like, "What's up?" He says, "We're in TBB," and I was like, "TBB?" You know, they had their shirts with their name, and I was like, "What is that all about?" And he was like, "Yeah, we were a tagging crew at first, and now we're a rocking crew." And I was like, "Wow!" So I was like, "I want to be down with you guys." So I started hanging out with them, and it was me and JoJo and Trace, and oh my God, I could name hundreds of people that we used to all meet up on Creston Avenue, and we all were part of TBB. TBB was the thing in the Bronx, and that was it. That was the biggest group that I knew in the Bronx, and they were the best rockers out there. So I wanted to be part of the best, and I learned from them. The top rock, you had to learn your top rock before you could hit the floor. So that was one of the places to learn. And like I said, over the next months and years, I took advice from other people. They showed me different things. And like I said, I just got better. I'll never say I'm the greatest because there's so many really, really good guys back in the day. Rubber Band, oh my God, Chicago, Kid Rock, all of these guys, Spy, Shorty. I can tell you, there was some really good guys back in the day, man, and I miss them. Those are the days. I grew up like that, and those are good memories, so. And again, if I didn't mention you, I apologize. Not that I'm almost 60, so my memory is a little bit bad. So I can remember what I can. And I know there's going to be somebody who says, "Hey, that's not a little bit right." So if I made a mistake or I said something wrong, I apologize. I could blame it on my age. But there's some things you'll never forget. And I'll never forget the Bronx. I'll never forget TBB. I'll never forget Rocksteady Crew. I'll never forget the feeling that it made because, growing up poor and impoverished, rocking was something that brought us together. It brought us together. It made us feel like we were a family. A lot of kids came from broken homes. They didn't have moms or pops or anything. They literally lived in the streets. And when we came together, we were like our family. And we looked out for each other. We didn't let nobody mess with us. We made sure we ate. We made sure we drank. We made sure we partied. We did everything together. And that's what was my family. Those are the memories that I have. And that's what made me happy. And nobody could ever take that away from me. So that's why I never worry about fame or fortune or none of that. Because in my heart, your memories are the strongest, realest things that you have.
50 years of hip-hop, and I'm just getting started. A moment of silence for the dearly departed. The only fear I know is the one called Stratus. I know of the baddest breaking crew ever established. Congratulations on the 50th year anniversary to the Bronx Boys Rocking Crew. 50 years, and this is what we do. We always stay true. Rock.
What's up, people? My name is Abby. I'm original concrete rocker from the Bronx Boys Rocking Crew, Bronx, New York.
My name is Powerful Pex. I've been dancing since 1977. Oh yeah, well, for the record, my name is Corey Montalvo, aka Icy Ice.
Transition from then, from back in the 70s when I came, and to now it's like saying space. That'll be Jupiter, and we'll be in the Bronx, and the whole is everything was buildings, black, in the park, concrete, nothing but concrete. Everybody getting cut up, dancing, and it was more family over there then than now. Now it's actually even before it was really strict, like blacks and Latinos. Now we got Asians, we got Germans, we got cats from Poland. I mean, we got Puerto Ricans, blacks, whites, Jews, and it looks like some sort of religion for me that's overcome anything I've seen. I never seen an Arab and a Jewish guy hang out like they hang out here. Never in my life. I don't see no blacks, no whites hang out the way they hang out here. Our culture, we learn to embrace it, and it's an amazing culture, man.
One of the things I experience is like a lot of people, a lot of these young cats that are coming up don't acknowledge the history of what's, you know, what this day brought. And, you know, I mean, like Cross One, I mean, he's contributed to hip hop so much. You know what I'm saying? There's kids that walk right by him and don't acknowledge. They don't acknowledge who this man is. They don't even acknowledge who this man is. You know, myself and several others. And that's
about the dance in general, like how the dance has evolved.
The dance evolved, like, I don't know what they're doing now, what kind of drugs they taking. But, I mean, I think they what I could say about that, wow, it's so different. Before it was just top rocking and floor rocking. And now it's like they defy gravity in some way. I've never seen amazing, just the techniques people got and the girls being involved. The girls, I give big ups to the girls. Big up to all, especially the Japanese girls. It's just Momo and them, they just amazing. I don't know, I was just, and it's just a big transition. It's like you take a moth, you take it, you know, when they're in the sack, and when it comes out, it's big, beautiful butterfly. That's what's the big transition from the cocoon to the butterfly, which is now. It's amazing for me, man. You know. That's
for us in particular, it was really a way for us to be able to gain back a sense of identity. That because you have to keep in mind that we come from a totally different demographic. Back then, you know, there wasn't really much that we had for us to really look forward to. A lot of us came from very dysfunctional homes too. You know, some of us were exposed to things like substance abuse or alcoholism, domestic violence and things of that nature. At the same time too, we had a government that pretty much disenfranchised us as a community as well. So again, we didn't have anything really to identify with. What hip hop did for us essentially was that it gave us a chance to be able to get back a sense of identity within the youth culture, but at the same time, be able to dictate it according to our terms. So in other words, when you had, for example, the graffiti artists, when they went out there and they did what they did, they said, well, we're going to go ahead and we're going to bomb this train, but that's how we're going to do it. And it doesn't make a difference what everybody else says. That was the same thing with the B-Boy. The B-Boy was able to go out there, he was able to put text and vocabulary into his moves, but he's the one that called the shots at the end of the day. So it's something that essentially became us. And that's why I think because it was such a radical social revolution that came out of pretty much out of nothing, that's the reason why today you see the fruit of that very impact today. I mean, of course, unbeknownst to us, none of us would have never known that we were going to have the kind of impact that 25, 30 years for some of us, the culture has had today. But we're certainly more than happy to be able to see the fruit of that.
Peace, this is Brother Ernie Panicoli, hip-hop photographer, Grammy Museum artist, and Hip-Hop Hall of Famer. I'm also the author of Hip-Hop at the End of the World and my new book, Stark, Kiss the Ring. I'm asking you to support the Bronx Boys 50th anniversary. Bronx Boys Rocking. Think about that. 50 years. Bronx Boys Rocking Crew. 50th anniversary. Support the food drive. Support everything they do. They're part of hip-hop. They're legit. They're official. And they got good spirits and they care about their people. One love.